No, I do not want to come down the mountain. Peter, always impulsive. The mountain is a place for retreat, for escaping the tiredness of everyday life, with its problems that use up energy and vitality. I want to stay on the top of the mountain. I need to stay there. When visiting Rio in January this year, I visited Sugarloaf again. It is such a wonderful place to go, with that vast, immense view. You know, Sugarloaf is located on a small peninsula, and the sea surrounds it. So there you are, on the top of that monolithic mountain, looking at that deep blue sea, that relaxing blue that envelops you. I can bet that people who went skiing recently would prefer to stay there also on the mountain a little bit longer. It is wonderful to be there, facing that dazzling whiteness, being absorbed by it. It is an experience of profound reconnection with oneself. The mountains have their own voice, or perhaps their own silence. And it is that unconditional silence that enables us to listen to our own inner voices. The ones we normally don't listen to when we are down here in commotion. The mountains confront us with immensity. They push us towards vastness. To be on the mountain is to have eyes which see far away, to have ears which listen deeply, to resonate to the vastness. To be on the mountain is to stretch towards infinity, crossing borders, overcoming the limits of an existence submerged in controversies and sufferings, visualizing the possibility of a life redeemed from conflicts, illnesses, concerns, possessed by the joy of being exactly in the place one wants to be, with the people one wants to be with. Have you had that feeling? The feeling of completeness. Nothing is missing. Peter was right not desiring to come down the mountain. It was the place he wanted to be. And they were there. Peter, John, and James, 3 disciples. Jesus, Moses, and Elijah, the 3 most expressive figures of Israel's religious life. Note these 2 threes. 3 is a symbolic number for infinity. So we have on the top of the Mount Tabor 2 infinities gathered. It means past, present, and future concentrated. The wholeness of life held together. The Transfiguration story has a symbolic character, and it is full of biblical allusions. Moses and Elijah are representatives of the law and the prophets, 2 fundamental dimensions of the Israelites' religion, culture, and life. The story evokes the experience of Moses in the Sinai and brings back elements of God's manifestation to the people in the past. The cloud and the voice. The cloud was a sign of God's presence, and in the Psalms, they are God's chariot. In the New Testament, Jesus will come again in the clouds. The voice that talks to the disciples is the same one that speaks at the baptism of Jesus. The topic of the conversation between Jesus, Moses, and Elijah is Jesus' departure. The original word for departure is exodus. In Jewish tradition, this is one of the most meaningful words in the history of salvation. The exit from Egypt under Moses' leadership meant the liberation of the people, the passage from slavery to freedom. A new beginning bound for the promised land. To speak about the exodus of Jesus is to designate him as the new Moses that will bring liberation to the people through his passion and resurrection. It is to identify in him the certainty of a new beginning. All of us needs new beginnings. All of us need to get rid of what makes us captive. What is keeping you captive? What do you need an exodus from? What do you need an exodus to? The disciples were there, remembering their past, collecting their hopes for a renewed present, and tasting an anticipation of the future. Transfiguration is also an anticipation of the glory of the resurrected Christ. What an extraordinary vision. What a glorious moment. Let us build 3 dwellings, said Peter. There is always the temptation of perpetuating a moment of glory and completeness. Is that bad or wrong? No. It's just not possible for us humans. All of us are sometimes up, sometimes down. All of us feel like a stranger to ourselves in a given moment, and in the following one, we are our closest friend. The disciples didn't understand what the exodus of Jesus was about. It was about going down the mountain. Yes, sharing life with others, being exposed to the sufferings and to the beauties of daily experience, acting upon our fears and choices. stepping towards the exodus of our captivities, finding out that transfiguration does not only happen on the top of the mountain, but also walking the path of the cross, believing in a promise, being amazed by the light of resurrection and realizing that there are other mountains to be climbed. Where is the exodus of Jesus taking you today? I'd like to invite you to allow the exodus of Jesus to take you to the place of no worries. So as I said at the beginning of the worship, last Sunday I gave you a homework assignment. I asked you to bring an image, a photo, a poem, a text, a gesture, perhaps a phrase that helped you to not worry. You are invited to share with your neighbors earlier in the service. Now, I would like to invite perhaps 5 or 6 people to come forward and share with the whole community. What helped you not to worry last week? Please come.
Sometimes, when I come to work here at the church, I open the door of that office and I am so worried. I look at that red box with the sign-up sheets and I think, did anyone sign up? Will I have to scramble? Will I have to fly my children in to be ushers? This week, I went to the box, and if you could just stand, I would be really happy because you helped me not to worry. Fiona, Jonathan, Anna, Greg, Kmotso, Neighborhood Group C. Come on. Kathy, Johnny, Monica, John, and Goni. Really, thank you very much. I have been worshiping here without a worry.
I took this in my garden last year. It's really very rare to see a rainbow so bright, so brilliant. And I just stopped everything when I saw that and went outside and looked at it. And then I suddenly thought, no, I must dash in and get my camera. So that's what I did. And it's really something that I like to look at from time to time and remember that, whatever the day is like, somewhere or other there's a fantastic rainbow.
Actually, it's I've been, for my work, I went to the Philippines for the first time. I just got back. And the reason why we're working, my work is the United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Risk Reduction. And what was really interesting was that we try to build up the communities, to build up their resilience to disasters. For the first time in my life, I was in Davao, and first time in my life, here I was talking about the reason why they should engage with us and all these things. At night, my hotel room, we have an earthquake. First time. I have never, ever experienced it. You preach it, you say it, but you don't think you will feel it. And I said, God, what is this? Your head turns. You don't know exactly what's happening around you. Anyway, what really comforted me was two things. God made it possible for me to go on that mission. Second, what I'm doing, what I'm working towards, it's for real. And my last message is that with God, it is well. Thank you.
Thank you. May the God who takes us to the mountain and accompanies us down the mountain give us always the opportunity to experience wholeness and completeness at the place where no worries are needed. Amen.